our guest today is Justin Varteresian from the Milford Area Humanitarian Coalition, sometimes called MAHC, here to talk about the Summer Meals Program. Thanks, Justin, for coming.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
This is the, third summer you're doing this?
Fourth, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, the first year we did it alone. It was our pilot program, and so we just did it for the ELL program with the public school system. And then the second year we linked up with the Hockomock Area YMCA, and ever since then, our numbers have increased exponentially every year.
How many people did you feed last year for is it just lunch or is it breakfast and lunch?
It's just lunch. I think there was one or two sites where we might have had breakfast for kids who were part of school program, but it was just lunch, and we served, I don't know the exact number, but it was a little over 9,000 meals that were served over the summer. Now,
what do people have to do to qualify to be eligible for the meal program?
Absolutely nothing. We serve meals to anybody under the age of 18. So any kid, they don't even have to be Milford residents. They can come from anywhere. There's no paperwork.
And where do they go to get served?
This year, we'll just be at Memorial Elementary School.
Okay.
In the past, we had several sites, but Memorial was always the really big site. So this year, we decided to kind of consolidate there. We have a few other closed sites, so those would be sites that the kid would actually have to be enrolled in a special program there.
Okay. And what time do you serve from?
11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Okay,
and we're very strict on that time. Okay,
now 9,000 meals is an awful lot of meals. How do you get the funding for this?
It's actually paid primarily through the U.S. Department of Agriculture. We get reimbursed for every meal that we serve to a child under 18.
Wow.
We also, through the generosity of donors throughout the town, provide meals to the adults that come with the kids, so a parent or a grandparent or a caretaker. So we're very happy to be able to do that. But for the kids' meals, that's completely paid for through the Department of Agriculture.
Okay. Now, what would happen if your program didn't exist? Where would these people be eating, or would they?
They probably would be eating, but it wouldn't necessarily be healthy food. The reason why we started this was because we found out that 44% of the kids in the Milford school system rely on free or reduced lunch. Obviously, that's not available to them throughout the summer because school's not open. I'm told that the number is actually up to about 50%, unfortunately. So the kids would probably eat food that, it would be very inexpensive food, so it would be all the processed stuff that they're really not supposed to eat. And so really one of the wonderful things about this program is that we provide a nutritionally balanced meal for the kids. And
I was going to ask, what's the typical meal like?
The USDA has very strict guidelines. There has to be, we serve a sandwich, we serve a fruit, and then a grain item, which could be anything from goldfish crackers to Rice Krispie treats or a cookie. They have to take a milk as well, and then there's a vegetable that goes with it as well. So it's a very nutritionally balanced lunch. It's the Milford Food Service for the schools actually provides that meal for us.
Wow,
we contracted with them.
So the Humanitarian Coalition is literally a coalition. It's a lot of different people.
Oh yeah.
So I know it involves area churches.
Yep.
You just told me it involves the school food service people.
Yep.
Who else is involved in this?
Well, it's not just people who are members of organizations. We also have some wonderful people who are just kind of there on their own, who they care about the town, and so they want to be able to help us. We have area businesses that contribute. We have someone from the South Middlesex Opportunity Council, which runs scattered site homeless shelters in Milford. Right. We have, gosh, I couldn't possibly name them all. Just lots and lots of great people from different organizations, community service organizations.
I understand you guys are looking at possibly bringing back a farmer's market as well?
We are in the beginning stages of looking at that, and so we're trying to figure out what the best way of doing that would be, and trying to work with the town to make sure that that gets done the way we're supposed to do according to the town bylaws.
Yeah, I know. I really enjoyed it when they had one that, unfortunately died out about 2 years ago, but
Yeah.
it's a good place to easily get fresh fruit and
Yeah.
vegetables.
We really hope to bring that back. There's talk about maybe having a pilot program at the end of the year, maybe for a couple weeks, and then next year maybe doing it for the entire summer. But we're still in the beginning stage of trying to plan that and figure out where the best location would be. And
Now, how did MAHC come about?
well, it really began when Father Mac Murray, who's the rector at Trinity Episcopal Church, he went on his sabbatical every 5 years.
Right.
They're required to send him on a sabbatical. And so he spent some of that sabbatical working with the South Middlesex Opportunity Council, SMOC. And one day he went into the town hall pretending to be a homeless person and asked if there were any resources, a place where he could stay. And they told him, oh, well, there's a homeless shelter on Winter Street. And he said, oh, you mean Winter Haven? And they said, yeah. And he said, well, that's been closed for 3 years.
Yep, that's true.
So out of that, he said, well, we really should have some sort of an organization that shares information so that everybody can know what resources are out there. And that's basically been one of the main missions of MAHC, is to share information and make sure that when there are people who are in need, that there are all kinds of people in the community who know who would be able to meet that need.
Right. And one of the biggest ones, obviously, you found out is food.
Oh yeah, food security is a big one. The summer lunch program was really the first program that we did. We're also looking at helping with elderly issues, and we were instrumental in getting the bus in town, among other issues. One of the newest issues we've decided we wanted to take on, we're trying to figure out what we can do to help combat the opioid crisis. That's another one that's kind of, we're in the infancy of
Have you worked with Amy Leone or the police chief yet on the regional group they have set up?
We invited Amy Leone to come to one of our meetings, and she came and she answered questions. We're hoping to be able to work more with her, and of course with the police chief. Right now we're just trying to figure out where we fit into all of this, and how we can be.
I know the schools have a pretty good education program. I know Amy and the chief have the program to treat people when they're found very quickly, but it is a nationwide issue.
It is.
And I don't know if a lot of people realize, but it's in all 50 states, and it's pretty serious stuff, and sometimes it gets me down when I think of how many people are doing this, but
yeah. I mean, a lot of great things that are happening in Milford, and really, it's a lot of great programs are starting right here in Milford. So we're glad that we may be able to be part of that process.
That's good. So I think what's interesting is, what I didn't realize is, prior to MAHC starting this lunch program, the people on the reduced or free lunches would not have a decent meal.
No, I mean, it was a lot of going to one of the convenience stores and getting, Twinkies and that kind of stuff.
Well, I can tell you, when you go to the convenience stores in town, or the dollar stores, or the freezer at a CVS, you're not getting really good quality food. You're getting the prepared meals with God knows what in them.
So that was what this really was aimed at doing, was providing a nutritionally balanced lunch for them, so that they weren't eating all the junk that really is not good for them.
Okay.
So there are many. It's kind of the program has kind of a manifold.
Right. Now, when do you start serving the lunches? When school is out?
The day I don't know if it's going to happen this year, that it happens the day right after, because it might, I think school is ending on a Friday this year. I could be mistaken,
Okay.
but we are starting on June 25th, and it's going to August 24th.
Okay, so it's basically when school is out of session.
Yes. Oh, and I should also mention that on Wednesday, starting on July 11th, we will also be running an open site at the Milford Library.
Oh, okay.
So that'll be another opportunity. And this year we're trying this new program where on Thursdays and Fridays we're distributing backpacks full of non-perishable food to the kids so that they have something to eat over the weekend, since we don't serve over the weekend.
Okay, and is this, they bring a backpack, or are you actually providing a backpack?
We will be providing a backpack. I believe that when the weekend's over, they bring it back and then we fill it up for the next weekend, but the backpack will be provided by the program. We got a grant through the Community Health Network to do that.
Wow.
So
a lot of people involved in this.
lots of people. We were very glad to get that grant from the network.
So if somebody's interested, they just show up at Memorial School?
No, actually the best way to do that would be to reach out to the Hockomock Area YMCA.
Which is in Franklin.
Which is in Franklin, Mansfield,
Attleboro.
I would say they could reach out to me, and I could pass their information on to Hockomock. The best way to do that would be email. It's milfordahc@gmail.com, and if people were interested, I could pass that on to the relevant people.
Okay, so you need to register before you just show up at the
there's
program.
For child safety's sake, we Corey, Sorry, everybody, and there's all kinds of paperwork that we have them fill out just so that we can make sure that they're.
And so if an adult wants to volunteer, they should also contact that.
Yes, they should.
milfordahc@gmail.com.
Yes, because off the top of my head, I can't remember what the contact information is for Hockomock, but I would be able to pass that on.
Well, other than knowing it's in Franklin, and Forge Park, I don't know, but that's because I've used its facilities from time to time.
Yeah, so there's kind of a process that goes into volunteering.
Okay.
Just so that we can be sure that we're running the safest program possible.
Right, and you mentioned, for those who don't know what Corey and Sorry is the Criminal Offender Act, and Sorry is the sex offender. So you're basically checking to see that anybody who volunteers doesn't have a criminal or a sex offender record.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get caught up in the acronyms of things, and and people don't know. What else would you like people to know about MAHC?
Well, we are we filed for our 501c3 status, and we got it. So we are now officially a federally recognized nonprofit organization.
Which means if somebody wants to give you a donation, it's tax deductible.
Absolutely. So
we're
very excited about that, we're always looking for new people to come to our meetings and to share their views, and we meet on the second Thursday of every month at Trinity Episcopal Church at 7 p.m. Although July and August we voted that we would suspend
it's a slow time.
People. I didn't really expect that we were going to get more than 3 people to show up to the meetings if we held them in the summer. But starting,
I stopped by your invitation. I stopped by a couple of meetings ago, and it seemed to me there were about 20, 30 people there at the end. So how big is MAHC? Is it just keeps growing, or?
It keeps growing. I mean, our email list is a couple hundred email addresses long. We don't get that many people who show up, but we have a pretty steady group of people. I'd say probably anywhere between a dozen and 30 people who show up consistently, and so which is great.
And is the whole idea just? I hate to use the phrase "falling in the cracks," but is it to look after people that are falling in between the cracks in society, or is it just to make sure that everybody is on an equal footing? Or
as we say, our goal is to serve the underserved. So I mean, we want to build community, obviously. That's something that we're really into. So we're not just for people who are poor or people who are just hungry, but
Right.
those are certainly some of our focus. Our focus is on particularly on people who are having a hard time, who might be hungry or might have, as I said, we're trying to get into the whole opioid issue. People who might be struggling with addiction, elderly people. Trying to.
Are there like meals aimed at the adult community as well, or is it just children? I know some of the individual churches have like community suppers.
The churches do. That's basically the gist of it. I mean, I think that we have. MAHC has in some ways contributed to that. I mean, I know particular members of that, like the Rotary,
Right.
have at times gone to a community dinner and have basically staffed that. MAHC does not have its own community meals just for adults.
Right.
We're basically leaving that up to the churches to do that. But if
But it's sort of a
Yeah.
group where people can get together and talk about what each church is doing or each organization is doing.
Yeah. The point of MAHC is not necessarily for MAHC to take on all kinds of stuff. It's to work, it's basically supposed to be a place where people meet and can discuss issues, and one group may go off and tackle it on their own, and that's great.
Right.
Like the meals, it's not just MAHC that's involved. It's many people. There's the Hockomock Area YMCA obviously is a big contributor. The food service is a huge contributor. I mean, we would have a very hard time running this program if it wasn't for Carla Tuttle, who's the director of that, and all
Right.
of the people who work for her. That's
Right.
they've been,
And the school and having
yeah,
the school
yeah.
facility.
The school has been great, giving us facilities. A youth center back when we were holding meals at the youth center, they were very hospitable to us. We've had sites at different churches, and they've been great. So, and then of course the individual donors who just they come from all aspects of the community. We have some individuals who donate. We have many of the banks have contributed, law offices,
Okay.
just
So if anybody's interested, again, they should contact you at that email, milfordahc@gmail.com.
yes. We also have a Facebook presence as well. So if people search Milford Area Humanitarian Coalition on Facebook, they would find it, and I try to keep that current and make sure that any new information is posted on there.
Right.
So that's a great way to stay in touch with the coalition, see what we're doing, see how people may want to, see how they can get involved.
Okay. So, but again, if people do want to get involved, check out the Facebook page.
Absolutely.
Contact you.
Yes.
Where's MAHC going in the future? I mean, you just going to continue on each year with the meals program? You looking to expand the services?
We definitely are. I mean, we're very excited about this farmers market idea, being able to be part of that. Now we're trying to figure out what part we play in that, because there's actually an organization from Worcester that we're hoping to work with, because they kind of have the infrastructure to do that. So that
right. I think the reason why the one we had in town died out, it was just the same volunteers every year.
Yeah.
And they just wore them out. I
Yeah.
think.
So we're currently exploring working with that organization, seeing if we think that would be a beneficial partnership. And so that's one thing. And we're always looking for new projects that we can tackle. Last year, we prepared over 150 Thanksgiving dinners that were then distributed
Wow.
throughout Milford on Thanksgiving Day. So that's something that we're hoping to continue to do. It was a new program that kind of the need arose. So we were glad to do that, and we hope to do it again. And if people have other ideas, we'd certainly be willing to hear those and see what we can do.
Does it surprise some people that Milford has that kind of need in the population?
I don't know. I mean, I can't say that I was completely bowled over by it personally. I mean, I can only speak for myself.
I don't think 150 meals out of 28 to 30,000 people is a lot, but just the fact that you have that many by itself,
yeah,
it sticks in my mind that I guess the average person doesn't think that the community has that kind of need.
Yeah, well, I mean, and 150 could even be I mean, that's just the people we reached. There
Right.
could be hundreds and hundreds of more people who could have benefited from that.
Could be a language barrier,
Yeah.
could be anything.
That either because we weren't able to reach out to them or they were unwilling to accept that generosity we weren't able to reach.
Sometimes certain cultures,
Yeah,
people don't want to accept things or admit that they need something. There's a matter of pride with some people, and
yeah,
if somebody's lost a job and they're, although the job market today is a lot better, but 2 or 3 years ago, it could take several months to find another job, and people might just have an element of pride until they absolutely need something.
yeah. And like with the summer lunch program, I mean, 9,000 meals could even be a really small. I mean, we're actually thinking that it's probably a really small number. That there are probably tens of thousands of more people we could reach out to that we just haven't yet been able to, either because of a language or a cultural barrier, just
Right.
because. I mean, what we're trying to do is break the stigma that this program the summer lunch program isn't just for poor kids. Certainly, we went into it hoping to help them, but we're really marketing this as a summer fun program, because it's not just lunches that we're serving. We're also providing activities. So this is it's really morphed into more of a socialization program, so that kids from all different cultures, different.
So if mom and dad are working and have a 14-year-old that they leave at home all day,
yeah.
the 14-year-old can go in and have lunch and do
Yeah.
things and
Yeah.
meet people.
Yeah, like I said, there's no paperwork involved, so we're not checking to make sure that people are below a certain income level, and we want to have people from all different income levels coming to these lunches, so that it isn't just viewed as being just a poor kid
Right.
program, and I think we've had some luck with that. I'd like to think we have, and we still have a little bit more work to do with that, but it's.
But at the very least, by targeting primarily or first targeting the kids on the reduced price lunches, you're at least making sure they get a decent meal.
Absolutely.
And then the rest is, let's get some other people in.
Yes, because actually part of the stipulations of us getting the money from the USDA is that there has to be some activity. It can't just be, here's your meal and once you're done, get out of here.
So what are some of the activities that go on?
Well, in the past we've had board games. We've had people, we had one member of our organization who really likes to play chess, and so he provided chess lessons to the kids, and that was a pretty well enjoyed activity. The kids were really excited to learn how to do that. This year, we're actually going to be adding some more physical activities. We went and got one of those big parachutes that people may remember from gym class, and so there'll be activities with that, and because we want the kids to get up and get moving too. We don't want them, summertime, we don't want them just staying at home playing video games or just sitting around watching TV. We want them to get out and have some fun and get some exercise too.
So are you able to use the school grounds like the playground at Memorial and things like that?
Well, actually, it's interesting. we none of these activities will be done outside. They'll actually all be done in the cafeteria. We'll be cordoning off a corner of the cafeteria where all of these activities will be going on. We have a policy of no running, but for those activities we may allow some fast walking.
That sounds good. Okay. Well, we've got just a minute or two left, so what would you like people to remember about MAHC right now for the summer and for beyond? One is, if you want to volunteer or you're interested in going or having your child go, contact you, Justin Varteresian, at milfordahc@gmail.com.
Yes.
What's next?
Well, as I said, we're now a nonprofit organization, so people's, as you said,
You're tax
it's tax deductible. So particularly, I mean, we'd love donations any time of year. But if the end of the year, if you're looking to,
no, I know how you feel.
but just, I guess what I want people to know is that we're here and we're looking to engage more in the community. If people have ideas, let us know. And I mean, I can't promise that we're going to do anything and everything that people ask us to do, but we'll at least give stuff serious consideration if people come to us and say, you know, gosh, I think that this is a real need, you know, it would be nice if we could address that. And I guess I want to be clear that we are adamant that we don't want to reproduce services. So like with the elder issues, we're not looking to reproduce what the senior center's doing. We're looking to work, you know, hopefully with the senior center. What are things that they'd like to be able to do, but you know, due to staffing or financial resources, they're unable to do, and you know, we can step in and help them with that. We're not looking to build an empire in Milford. We want to work within the community to bring about whatever change needs to be brought.
Well, Justin, thanks for coming in. I know we've wanted to publicize what you guys have been doing for a while.
Yes.
And I know you guys reached out to us at the Crier, and you know, I came to your meeting, and we'll try to come to future ones, but hopefully people will see this and know more about what you're doing and volunteer their time or their money.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. Very exciting to be able to publicize this organization.
Thanks very much for coming in.